For all you avid gardeners out there who are really keen on learning all the different techniques in grafting, growing, propagating, and you saw a little episode we threw on our Facebook page yesterday. It was about Tony's grafting fruit trees. He had multiple grafts on there and he didn't explain exactly what he did or how he did it. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to demonstrate it here. And what I'm going to demonstrate here is the simple cleft graft. There's different ways of cleft grafting, and what I've got here is a plum tree or a cutting off a tree. It is not the season. That's why we really didn't get into detail, but a lot of you sent me emails asking how does he do it? Well, I'm going to demonstrate some real basic ones here that you can try at home, and you can have multiple fruit on the one tree if you like. You can put as many different types of plums or many different types of apples on apple trees, on plum trees. Don't start crossing them over because you'll come back and complain to me about that if they don't grow. Now you need a grafting or budding knife. Now this one here has a flat side on one side here. See, this is flat side and here it's tapered. Now the tapered side is the side that stays up. It's designed so that it can cut in for you. So I cut with my right hand, I pull towards me. For example, if I take a cutting off this plum here, which is what I've done here and done a demonstration already, wrong piece, that's too big. This little piece here. If I want to do a wedge cut, I pull towards me like that, and then I turn it around and do it again on the other side, like that. See that? That's my little wedge. That's very long, doesn't have to be that long. But the idea about grafting here, folks, while I've got this on demonstration, is see the bark on the outside, or the skin if you want to call it that. This is softwood still because it hasn't aged. Now just underneath that, if we were to pull that back like this, right underneath the outer bark and the inner wood there is what we call the cambium layer, and that's where the sap flows. That's the bloodline of the tree basically. All the moisture runs up and down there. Now if you're going to do a bit of grafting, you need to line up that layer with the wood underneath. So this is the Scion wood. This is a piece of wood that you take from your neighbour's house, down the road, down the local centre, anywhere who's got a piece of wood or tree that you want to take a graft from and graft it onto a fruit tree of your own at home. So that's not the host, that's the Scion piece. And the bottom part here, the thick piece here, is what we call the rootstock. So that's the tree you're grafting onto. So what I've done here now is I've done 1, 2, 3, 4 different types of grafts to start with for you if you're going to try something first time, and for those who've done it a lot of times, obviously no. This is a nice and simple way. So what we do is line up the cambium layers. That's where the sap flows. So what we mean by sap flow and cambium layers is the two pieces of wood that we have joining together have to line up so the sap continues flowing through from the bottom to the top. So first one, what we've got here is a wedge. I've cut a wedge shape on the bottom of this Scion wood. Now also pay attention, close attention to the buds that you've got here. These are the little nodes. These are what are going to sprout up. Now I've cut the wedge in the same direction, pretty much close to which way the buds will grow. I could have wedged it this way and that way, the opposite way, which means when I insert it, these buds will end up growing either into the center of the tree or out of the tree. At the end of the day, it's not a big deal because you may not be grafting onto the center of the tree or a branch is facing into the center. So just be cautious when you do graft and you see which way you want the branch to grow, that you do the wedging in the right way. Now one side's thicker than the other side. So what we've done here, and there's a reason why we've done that, because we need more sap flow to connect. But what we've done here on the rootstock, here is what we try to do is match the diameters. Try and get them as close as possible. Now, what I've done to the bottom piece here is created a wedge. So I've got my grafting or budding knife and I've wedged it down into that length there. And I sort of line it up with what I'm going to insert. See that? That's it there. So now I've done the wedge and I make sure that if this is a little bit smaller in diameter, that the wider cut that I have on the wedge here, not that side, this side is on the edge of my rootstock. Let me get it in there. There we are. So we insert there and we try and line it up. Now, depending on the type of bark, these ones are pretty much the same in thickness. So it'll be nice and flush, wedged in nice and tight. Have a look at that. See that there? And you can see on the other side, it's slightly recessed inside. That doesn't matter. It's okay as long as the one side lines up. Now, when we do finish with this, we're going to tape this up. Now, I like to use buddy tape, not grafting tape. Buddy tape is really soft. It's perforated. See, this is 70 millimeters in length and each piece will stretch out beautifully. So we grab the one side and we start wrapping it around. It's self-adhesive and we can just drag it around nicely. Keeps it nice and tight. and it actually gives. So if the branch starts to grow, or if you're budding itself, doing bud grafts, it'll allow the bud to push through. Look at that. Look at it. Look how much wrapping I've done with one little piece. And the best part about this is I don't have to stick it or tie it. Now that's the first one. Now if you want to do something a bit more advanced, you can go into something like this. Now what we have here is a larger rootstock in diameter. Now that's only about, you know, a centimetre and a half in diameter. You can go up to 7.5, 10 centimetres in diameter, but it really depends on the type of wood you're grafting onto, because if it's hardwood, obviously it's going to be a lot harder to split. Now we've done exactly the same thing here. We've got a wedge on one, and we've got another one there. Now these two need to be exactly the same in diameter. It's not so bad if it's a little bit frail at the base there. That doesn't matter, as long as they're nice and clean with the cuts on both sides there. Now I've done these earlier on, so they're starting to discolour a little bit, but we've also got the angle on top there. Just above the bud, make sure you always cut it off on an angle. That's very important. And again here, we've taken our grafting knife and we've created an opening, a split down the centre there. There we are. And you split it down about the same distance, slightly more than what the length of that wedge is that you've created on the Scion Wood. So we've got the grafting knife. Now, again, you may need to use the grafting knife to wedge it open or open it up so you can insert it, but this one's already been sitting open. And remember, one side's wider than the other. Make sure you get the wide side facing outwards. And when you wedge it back in, it has to line up to the edge so the cambium layers can match up and it flows beautifully. Now, you may also have a little bit of a gap at the bottom, but that's okay. We squeeze that, we tie it up, and that disappears. That won't hurt it. It's the cambium, because the sap will flow through here into there, straight back up. Now that's one side. Now we do the other side. Have a look, and it should be pretty much identical. Now I'm doing this blindfolded, meaning I haven't got my glasses on, and I have got no idea where I put them. But that's okay. I'll just keep squinting like this, and it looks okay to me. Now we've got a gap up here. You can put a bit of wax in there if you like. Tree stake, steri-prune paint, all those are great. They're liquids. If they're a bit runny, you don't want to pour it in there. Your best is to get your buddy tape again and start wrapping it around. Get it on. There we are. Need another little piece. And there we are. Demo number 2. Cleft. It gets better. Have a look at this one. This is real easy. Rather than cutting a wedge into the wood, into the rootstock, what we've done is we've got our budding knife, cut a line into the bark, into the white wood, and we've peeled it back to open it up inside, get underneath and expose the cambium layer. Now this is stage 1, and what we need to do here is a wedge again. Now you can cut it on both sides if you like. I haven't in this case here. If I want to, I just get my knife and do that, done, and then insert, and it touches onto the side. Insert it like that, and that's done. And again, buddy tape. For those who use grafting tape, we'll see now in real time how easy this is. Now, unfortunately, you can't twist the tree like this, but you can twist the actual tape around like this freely. Look at that. There you go. There's number 3. Now, the last one. Now, this is probably the one you saw at Tony's house. Now, I've seen this demonstration done before with Bassam. Now, Bassam's watching this now, and you know what I'm talking about. This is a wedge again, but this is almost where you take a piece of wood out of this, a notch out of this, a wedge out of the actual rootstock. Have a look at that. I've cut a wedge out, right out of there. There's a gap. Now, I've got to fill that in with a piece of wood, which is my Scion Wood, and I've cut a wedge here on the end of it to match. It's got to match the cutout, so it fits in there snugly. See that? The wedge is there, but we've also got our wide side there, which is going to sit on the outside. Now that should slip in there nice and neatly, snugly, like this. Push it in tight. There, up. There we are. And there it is. Have a look at that. Cut in nice and tight. It's a real firm anchor So it's wedged inside the actual rootstock, like we have with the other ones with a split. Now, I do not recommend you go out and try this, because this is, well, I do recommend it once you've mastered the other ones. How's that? Get the other cleft grafts going, then you can move on to this stage there. And after this, buddy tape. Now, this stuff here is available on our website for those who want some, and you don't have to buy a whole roll, because we know how expensive this stuff is. It's sold by the perforated pieces. So you can order 1, 2, 10, 20, whatever you like. And you can go home and try as much as you like of this grafting. And there you go. I think I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, folks. Well, there you are, 4 different types of grafting. Now, like I said, you don't do this now. It's not the time of year to do it. You do it later on. So you can go to our YouTube channel and watch this over and over again to go and try it on your trees around July, August onwards, September, October. Plenty of time then to go and try your grafting. But this is what it is for those who are questioning and asking how it's done. These are 4 little different ways that you can try as well. Now, if you love all this sort of stuff that I've just demonstrated here, we've got stacks of this stuff on our website. You need to become a VIP member, which means a subscription to our magazine. You get 4 editions sent to your home annually each season, 1 copy each season that is. But what you get on top of that is access to the VIP section of the mag, which means all the TV shows, all the wonderful guests that have been on our show over the years are there for you to watch and learn from all the techniques for grafting, propagating, growing, transplanting, growing veggies, and everything you can imagine, plus all the back issues of the magazine. So lots of information, a wealth of information for you to enjoy. Simply just become a VIP member to vasilisgarden.com, the official website, and from there on, I'm sure you're going to love your garden just as much as we do and everybody who's been on our show. From me, Vasily, Maresi.